Thank you. Dear ENLIGHT colleagues, dear conference participants, welcome to the University of Bordeaux. Welcome to this third edition of ENLIGHT Teaching and Learning Conference. I'm delighted to open this major event, bringing together academics, teachers, and students from across 10 countries. At the University of Bordeaux, we often like to say that we are both very old and very young. In fact, there has been a university in Bordeaux for nearly 6 centuries, and after the fragmentation in 1968, the University of Bordeaux was recreated 10 years ago by merging 3 universities. The first motivation of that merger was to build a comprehensive university and a world-class university. Our main objective was to consolidate a multidisciplinary potential in research in order to provide quality education that addresses the complexity of today's world. International is a strategical priority. Being open and diverse makes a positive contribution to our university. We consider that we learn thanks to our partnership, and it is very important for students, academics, and staff. In parallel, in the last 10 years, the University of Bordeaux is engaged in ambitious initiatives to develop flexible and student-centered learning. Another goal is to support our academics in the development of innovative teaching. Today, we are a large multidisciplinary university. We are recognized for our capacity for innovation, and we have strong European and international links. We are also engaged in the challenge of environmental and societal transitions. We are actively promoting the well-being of our community. As you know, ENLIGHT is completely aligned with those objectives. This is why your presence here today is so important. The European Commission considers European alliances such as ENLIGHT as a means to transform higher education and deepen cooperation, making our universities more competitive, both across Europe and the globe. In this context, this conference is so important. It is an opportunity to meet and to share practices. It is also an opportunity to make connections and think deeply about learning and teaching at the university. I wish you an excellent conference, making strong connections with a lot of colleagues across ENLIGHT. I hope you will also have some convivial moments during your stay in this beautiful city. Thank you for your attention. Joanne?
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean, for your support. And dear ENLIGHT colleagues, dear conference participants. Well, here we are for this third ENLIGHT Teaching Conference at this very busy, very studenty Bordeaux Bastide campus. As you can see, this is actually the second time that ENLIGHT has met here. In November 2019, it was a bit darker, a bit colder. You're lucky here, you're in the sunshine today. In November 2019, we were planning and developing a project. 4 years later, here we are together as just one of the many communities of the ENLIGHT Alliance. More than 200 people gathered together to share practices, to report on and to celebrate innovation in teaching and learning, with a strong focus on empowering students. And for many today, the future may seem uncertain. So it's a really ambitious and highly needed aim. We also know that this is the last big ENLIGHT event of the first phase of our alliance. As you all know, we are set off now for 7 more years of European funding of our activities. And that's a long-term commitment for our universities. And I also want to give a little shout out to Bern, who are joining us for the first time today. Welcome to our Swiss colleagues in the ENLIGHT Alliance. In 3 years, we have achieved a lot. We've developed over 50 educational initiatives targeted on societal and ecological transition, 30 credited blended mobility programs, including the GEM, defined challenge-based educational strategy and set up teacher training for it. We've got a digital course catalog. We've brought together experts and teams. We're developing mobility. We have doctoral network connections, innovation and research networks. It's all moving forward, but I'm going to stop there because I want to be brief. And although we're in the reporting phase, this is not the final report. Much has been done in this pilot phase, but we are all very aware that we have a long way to go to embed ENLIGHT widely in our universities, to engage students, colleagues, staff. The next phase of ENLIGHT, as you know, is focused precisely on that. There will be, and there should be, many more opportunities for academic students and staff to meet and engage, learn and work together. ENLIGHT's aims are sustainable development aims in the widest sense of the word. This means excellent research and education addressed at climate, health, circular economy, digital skills, equity, culture and creativity. But it also means developing rich interactions across all our communities, developing that rich diversity, that intercultural dynamic in education. Well, that's SDG 4.7, education for the goals, and it always has and always will underpin ENLIGHT. You can see, and you will see in the next 3 days, that this aim is really at the heart of the organization of the conference, planned very carefully by Lola, Claire, and Estelle, to develop connections, conversation, to organize exchange between all participants. This is really 100% ENLIGHT, and it's important that we do this now. Finally, a word about our theme, which is also 100% ENLIGHT, empowering students. You know that in 2023, it would have been very easy to have tried to look at the impact of AI on education. There's a lot of anxiety around transition and disruption in education. That would have been dropping the ball, which is a little rugby metaphor, because rugby is very important here. Okay, that would have been dropping the ball when in fact in ENLIGHT we already run with that ball. When we address the question of student empowerment, we are actually engaging very strongly with the question, what makes higher education relevant? How should education evolve, develop the skills that students need? And what is the added value of us? Is it not our capacity to design and co-construct with students and for students rich educational human experience that requires collaboration, critical thinking, and engagement in order to encourage and inspire students to go deeper with disciplinary knowledge and to gain the wide set of skills that they need to advance with confidence today and tomorrow? So our ENLIGHT conference, the next 3 days, is very timely and highly relevant, both for the next 3 days of our exchange, but also as we move forward with ENLIGHT as an alliance. So I wish you all a very fruitful conference at the University of Bordeaux, to make lots of connections, to enjoy the sunshine, but above all, to celebrate what we do in teaching and to move forward. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Dean. Thank you, Joanne. I'm Estelle, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to welcome you here today on the campus of my department. In fact, I could almost start with welcome to my home. In fact, those students are mine, and I'm really proud to welcome you here. For 3 intense days, we will be taking part in a variety of discussions centered on the theme Empowering Students for Tomorrow. In education, as Joanne reminded us, empowerment promotes autonomy, engagement, and develops students' self-efficacy. Empowering students is an objective that finds its full place in pedagogies that aim at developing the skills necessary to face the challenges of the 21st century. This broad and inspiring theme was at the heart of all involved in the peer review cycle, which this year focused on entrepreneurship and careers. And I say a hello to those colleagues that I saw behind the screen during all this year. And now for the students, I would like to invite anyone with a green badge to stand up. Yeah. And I would say, welcome, dear students and PhD students. You have your full place here. You're just here to have deep discussions with us, okay, about what is engagement for you, what is empowerment for you. And we are just so happy to welcome you in this conference. So welcome. We are expecting you during the 3 days to challenge us as teachers, as staff members of university on what should and what can we do to empower you. Okay, we are here for that. So just challenge us. We are here for that. To put this conference together, we worked very closely with the members of the ENLIGHT Governance Board, and I say hello to them for the one who are here, because I would like to thank warmly those people for the quality of the constructive discussions we had all this year. Each element of this conference was proposed, detailed, and validated together. As my colleague 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗼𝗂 pointed out, we have set up the sessions format and organization in order to encourage and sustain interaction, discussion, and network development. This conference is the fruit of a genuine co-construction between representatives of the ENLIGHT universities. I would like to thank once again all those who helped us to prepare it, and I address a special thank to my colleagues from this campus and the director of the IUT, who is here, thank you Muriel, and of Olivier Herbart, who is the director of the IAE, another institute in this campus, because those students that are living here are theirs. So thank you so much to welcome us. Before entering in the heart of the theme of the conference, I've been asked to provide you a few practical reminders. So I will have a checklist of some points you have to have in mind to have a nice conference. About your badges, everyone know now that the green ones are students, the blue ones are all the others. Okay, that's easy like that. Thanks to the QR code at the back of your badge, okay, you can access at any time the program, the entire program of the conference. This is the more recent version of the program. So you received before other versions of that, but here is the last one. So the rooms are the right one, the groups are the right one, and so on. So just refer to that and not to the printed parts you bring with you during your trip, okay? In the right hand of the corner at the back, some of you will find a triangle, you know, with a color and a number inside. It's for the ice-breaking activity of the next step. Okay, so the number indicates which amphitheater you have to go next. So here is the 3. The 4 is on the back, on the first floor. Okay, so we will guide you. Don't be afraid. It's really simple. We are all in this place, so really simple. So you will follow the number, go there back, or in the next amphitheater. And the color is about the group in which you will have to discuss. Some of you don't have the triangle. So those people are the one involved in poster sessions, and you have a special time to meet your co-presenters. So you will have meet and talk session with your co-presenters of the poster sessions. So have a small group discussion, and you will be invited to think about how you want to deal with this poster session. Okay, so you will have a special time here. And the other one are the one concerned by the award. Okay, and the juries and the nominees will have to go to the UBLab area. That's okay for everyone. We will repeat that later, but just to know, you have some indications on your badge. Just a word about the TBM transportation tickets you have. Be careful, it's for the 3 days, so don't put it in the garbage going out after your first travel. So just keep it. It's for 3 days. And you have, each time you go inside the bus or the boat or the tramway, to just validate it on the terminal. Okay? Just each time you enter, check. Yeah. And I think I have almost finished. You have seen some students with t-shirts, ENLIGHT t-shirts. They will be there at some key points. So if you have any question, they can guide you inside the campus and so on and just help you. So feel free to ask them questions. And don't lose also your entrance to the Wine City, you know, this one, because we can't have duplicates. So just be careful. You just keep them really carefully in your bags. We can give you another one. So just be careful with that. Okay. I will now, again, thank you to be here. I'm really happy that is, well, we are concretizing, I don't know how to say that, but that's a lot of work to welcome you. So we are really proud to see you all. And I wish you a really nice and exciting conference together. So welcome on board. I will invite Antoine, 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗜𝗚 and Karel to go here. And yeah. Oh, okay, just Antoine. Sorry. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So in case you have doubt, I have a blue badge, not a green one, because several asked me if I am a student or I'm not. So my name is Antoine de Daruvard, and I am a professor at the University of Bordeaux, where I'm teaching bioinformatics, which is not the topic of this session, as you all know. And I'm here because I'm involved in a university scale program aiming at a systemic transformation of our training offer. And the goal of the university through this program is to better take into account societal issues and also to make the students more active in their training. So for those reasons, as you can imagine, I'm very interested and particularly happy to moderate this plenary session on empowering students through sustainability education. For this session, we have two speakers. The keynote speaker is Dr. 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗜𝗚 from Galway, which he will just talk after me, who will explain us how teaching on social and environmental transition can be a lever of empowering students. 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗜𝗚 is environmental science lecturer in the School of Natural Science at the University of Galway, and she is also a very active member of a committee that she might describe in her discussion. It's maybe, I don't know, we don't have it's the same committee, but it's a committee which is called Community University Sustainability Partnership Committee. And in this committee, sorry? I did not make up the name. Okay, thank you. Okay, in this committee, she leads a research and learning working group. Our second speaker is Karel Prot, and he is a student, or at least he was student until recently, if I got it well. Karel was student at Ghent University, where he obtained 2 master degrees, one of history and the other one on urbanism and spatial planning. Okay, so it will be a great opportunity to have this discussion. The previous speaker said about challenging the teacher and so that will be the job of Karel to challenge. So the session will actually consist in 3 parts. First, we will have the presentation by 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗜𝗚, a 20-minute presentation. I mentioned the time because I hoped that we will be very late, but we are on time, so this put a lot of pressure on me because we have to stick on time. Then Karel will react on Gertje's presentation and provide us with a student perspective. And I will ask you to take no more than 10 minutes. And finally, of course, you will be all invited to ask questions to our speaker. Okay, so I will hand over to Gsche for her presentation with the magic device.
Thank you very much. I'll just pop that there. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Antoine. And thank you very much for the organisers for having me. And I'd just like to say thank you as well for organising amazing weather. Good job. I have to say, it was, you know, about half as warm and about a million times wetter in Galway when we left yesterday. So we're very much appreciative of what we're currently experiencing here. So as Antoine said, I'm a lecturer at the University of Galway and a member of the CUSP committee, much shorter. As I said, I did not name it, but I will tell you what we do. And I'm going to give you an overview of how we're trying to empower our students through sustainability education at the university. I'm also trying to give you a couple of nice pictures of the university, so you're very inclined to come and visit us. But I think what's important to note is that in the university, at an institutional level, sustainability is one of our key pillars of our strategic plan. You can see it here. It's called Shared Vision Shaped by Values. And these 4 values include, importantly, sustainability, also respect, excellence and openness, which I always think are integral to sustainability as well. But sustainability is part of our vision on the merits of our students who, considering that they're the ones who are going to experience, the changing world and climate change most acutely, are the ones who put it forward as one of our values and also voted overwhelmingly for its inclusion. So let me walk you through how we're now trying to make sure that we actually hold up our end of the bargain and make sure that we're providing the sustainability that this vision promises we will deliver. In addition to our overall strategy, we have a sustainability strategy. This was launched in 2021. It's our second sustainability strategy. It was launched by Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland. And this is a strategy document that was created with huge input from our students. The committee, the Sustainability Committee that I speak of, is made up of staff and students across the university. This includes staff, teaching staff, as well as research staff, but also operational staff, and then student representatives. We put together a first initial draft of this document, which is then circulated to students for comment and feedback. We received over 1,000 responses to the strategy document and tried to include everything that our students put forward that they felt was important in terms of promoting sustainability at our university. And as I said, it does take into consideration the other core values that we have as well, but the main aim is really to be engaging, holistic and inclusive, and our students are at the heart of the overall strategy. The strategy also sets out the model that we follow when it comes to implementing sustainability across all aspects of our university. This is the model that we're working with. We refer to it as the Learn, Live, Lead model. The aim with Learn is to embed learning about sustainability into all aspects of the university practice, learning and research. It ensures that our students can gain the necessary knowledge and skills to demonstrate sustainable thinking and can make informed decisions going forward. Live, as you can see here, divided into 4 pillars. We're looking at energy and greenhouse gases. We're looking at nature and ecosystems. We're looking at health and well-being, and we're looking at the built environment. At least I hope we're looking at that. Sorry, I can see the sun's just shining slightly on that slide. But anyway, believe me, that's what it says. And the aim is really that we're trying to implement sustainability principles across all of our operations, giving our students a lived experience of sustainability across the campus and an opportunity to gain further skills and engage with actions on sustainability on the campus. And then there's LEAD, which is focused on developing both the campus and our students as sustainability role models. We're hoping to foster sustainable partnerships beyond the campus as well, again, working with our students and the wider community. So overall, by adopting our Learn, Live, Lead model, we hope that we can empower our students to become sustainability leaders and make really good decisions about a shared future going forward. I'm going to slightly follow this Learn, Live, Lead model as well in my presentation, although it is important to note that these three pillars are very closely linked with each other and there's also overlap between them. We'll start with Learn. This is the bit that I tend to work on. This is my working group that oversees this aspect of it, so I will focus a little bit on this for a little bit longer than maybe some of the other sections for obvious reasons. It's the bit I know the best. But when it comes to Learn, as I said, we're looking to embed sustainability learning across our learning, research and student experience to make sure that individuals across our campus community can learn about sustainability. What we're hoping to do is integrate sustainability across all our educational pathways, programs, ensure that we're providing co-curricular sustainability experiences for all students that they can engage in if they so wish, opportunities for all, so beyond our student body, to learn about sustainability that includes our staff and the wider community, and then to make sure that we give our students leadership opportunities in sustainability, innovation and entrepreneurship. Oh yeah, perfect. So when it comes to learning about sustainability, if you think about the different areas involved in sustainability, tackling sustainability is something that every discipline can contribute to. So what we're trying to achieve at the moment is to make it very explicitly clear how each discipline can contribute to sustainability. We're trying to make it very clear for our students to see where each discipline stands when it comes to, for example, contributions to relevant SDGs, and that they can also see which SDGs relevant modules that they take and align with. As I said, it's an ongoing process. For some modules, that information is readily available already on our website, for others less so. And last year we had a student-led project. One of our PhD students, Thomas Adams, ran an analysis of our modules. He looked at the learning outcomes of the modules that we deliver across the university to see whether he could find sustainability alignments with those modules that we deliver. I have to say, he wasn't able to analyse all of our modules simply because some of them, shockingly, I'm going to give out to my colleagues, didn't have learning outcomes listed. Ooh, I know, shocking. We must do better. But what he came back with is that of the modules that he was able to analyse, he was able to determine that 14% of our modules are already sustainability focused and 44 are sustainability supporting. So we're already on the right track. It is now making sure that we look at the rest of the modules as well to make sure that we can see alignment there too. And again, that is explicitly clear to our students where that is, because we want to make sure that they understand that the skills and the knowledge that they gain in relevant modules is relevant to sustainability and where these links are. Now, it is not up to any one discipline to solve sustainability, so we do need to take a multidisciplinary approach. We need disciplines working together. We need them to create knowledge collectively. We need an interdisciplinary approach, and very importantly, we want a transdisciplinary approach. That transdisciplinarity is something that we're working very hard at to achieve. And this is where we come in on our transdisciplinary module that we created specifically on sustainability. It is the Introduction to Sustainability module. It was co-created with students and piloted in 2019-20. And it is now being rolled out across the university. We're aiming for it to one day be a university-wide module. We're not quite there yet. At this moment in time, it is available in 68 courses across the university. And just had a quick look earlier this morning. This semester we have 250 students taking it. We're repeating it again next semester with a higher number of students. So it is popular, which is great to see. And it is a transdisciplinary module. We have contributions from colleagues across the university. We have 13 staff members involved in the delivery of it. These are academic staff as well as operational staff. And In some cases, we have experts on relevant areas give their part of the story, paint their picture, but we're also bringing them together to tackle projects, to tackle problems collectively in a transdisciplinary way, to show our students how our different disciplines might work together. We're also getting the students to work together. The students are expected to work on one of their assignments collectively, and I say collectively, not all of them, but in groups. And here we're trying to bring together students from different disciplines, but also across different age groups. The module is currently delivered for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years in our university. And as I said, they come from a variety of backgrounds across 3 colleges in our university. So we hope that they can engage with each other and learn to really tackle the issues from all the different disciplines and work together in a transdisciplinary approach. It's important to note that this transdisciplinary module is one of several transdisciplinary modules which are part of the Designing Futures pathway. There are several of my colleagues here today who work on Designing Futures. So if you have loads of questions about it, I think they run several sessions later, so please by all means do engage with that, because it's a really exciting initiative that allows students to design their own pathway and in terms of learning transdisciplinary skills. So it's really exciting with several transdisciplinary modules on the books. And also with the integration of vertically integrated projects that students can do, where academics and students from a diversity of backgrounds will work together to tackle projects and problems in terms of research perspective that include sustainability. Not all of them are sustainability focused, but they definitely include some sustainability focused projects. So one of the ones that I'm involved with this year is sustainability in small and medium enterprises. So again, we're trying to also take it beyond the campus if we can. It's also worth to note that there is the Innovation Lab, the Ideas Lab, that's been led as part of the Designing Futures as well, allowing students to work again together and develop different ideas. And also the Empathy Project falls under the Designing Futures initiative. So again, I think there's a session on that. Is that tomorrow? Friday. Thank you very much. I knew you were there somewhere. I was like, where is it? Sorry, thank you, Friday. The other thing that's worth noting is that we do have a range of now transdisciplinary sustainability courses, particular MSc courses. There's the MSc in Environmental Leadership, Sustainable Environments, the MSc in Sustainable Resource Management, and the Sustainability Leadership MSc. The School of Natural Sciences has recently launched a sustainability scholarship as well to encourage students to take these courses. Also worth noting from a transdisciplinary perspective on sustainability is the Green Labs initiative. This looks at greening of labs. Labs consume huge amounts of energy, produce an awful lot of waste. So we're looking in this initiative how this can be reduced. We're very proud of the fact that we had the first Green Lab certified lab in Europe. And again, it allows our students to carry out research in ideally in a sustainable environment as possible. And also take leadership when it comes to lab greening initiatives. In addition to the initiative itself, there is a transdisciplinary module that is now being run for our students on green labs, and also in consultation with the labs and wider community, it is now available beyond campus for industry, for example. So that's the curriculum side of things that we're working on. But let's be perfectly clear, we all know that not all learning is based on the curriculum as such. There's the very important co-curricular aspect. This is an integral part of the learning experience and empowerment opportunities for students at our university. This includes a wide range of student-led and student-centered events hosted throughout the year, including, for example, Energy Awareness Week, organised by our Energy Society, the Galway Environment Festival, most recently SDG Week, a week focusing on relevant SDGs as such, but also the Youth Climate Summit and other relevant events. As I said, student-led initiatives organised by students for students. We aim to provide a platform here for our students to create and engage with events, initiatives, but also with each other on sustainability. And I'd like to highlight in particular our live volunteering programme here. Lorraine is here as well. Well done. Who is integral in providing a platform for students and supporting them. And I'd like to highlight one of the fabulous initiatives from last year, winner of the ENLIGHT Global Citizenship Leadership Award, the 𝗘𝗚𝗟𝗧 project. It's absolutely fabulous. That looks at taking student, don't want to call it waste products, but products left over at the end of the year from students that can be distributed to the community and other students as well. So again, fabulous initiative, and not possible without the help and support of our students and our volunteer coordinator. So plenty going on that allows our students to engage and learn in the curriculum and in the co-curriculum. And you can already see that there are strong links to also the lived side of things, if we think about things such as Green Labs or also initiatives such as 𝗘𝗚𝗟𝗏. So when we look at live, here, as I said, we're aiming to implement principles of sustainability into the lived experience of our campus. We're trying to make sure that students can experience sustainability and learn how valuable it is in their everyday lives, but also where they can take action, be that for themselves or within the campus or wider community. There's a number of aims that I've listed here on this slide. There are a number more, but these are some of the ones where we've had some great student leadership and engagement, such as our biodiversity action plan, using our campus as a living lab, the co-development of a range of community projects, more vegan and vegetarian options in restaurants and meat-free days. Although I'd like to point out, when I'm presenting you with all of these options, these are not without flaws, and it's, as I said, a lot of it is still ongoing, and I only just yesterday had a good conversation with our Students' Union Sustainability and Environmental Officer, Molly, who's also here, on the issues that we've been facing when it comes to, in particular, moving to a more vegan and vegetarian diet on campus. There seems to be quite hesitancy to fully embrace this. But as I said, it is definitely a work in progress. There are also aspects such as greater access to all sport and physical activity, banning single-use plastics on campus, reducing our food waste, developing opportunities for active travel, and reducing total water consumption as well. Just to show you some of these actions as they're actually taking place on our campus. There we go, lovely. I hope you can vaguely see these. What you can see here is that under our biodiversity action plan, we're looking to create a sustainable, biodiverse, and healthy campus, one that promotes learning and research for our students, the use of the campus as a living lab where they can engage in relevant research projects, but also an environment that promotes student health and well-being, because that is essential. We've seen a lot of engagement from students and across the board with our campus, and in particular for research opportunities, which is really, really good to see. We can see initiatives on, for example, pollinator-friendly mowing, which is the top right photo there. But also we see in the centre a picture of our Organic Garden Society, who have created an organic garden for the students, which is maintained by the students. And also there's influencing on wider planting on campus to make sure that we, for example, increase the amount of trees that we have on campus, or also the inclusion of fruit trees on our campus. We've just planted a new orchard that we're very excited about. So that's one part of it, as I said, on the green side of things, and trying to create that healthy environment for our students. But there's also a whole range of other initiatives shown here in a range of small snapshots and photos, which again allows students to take leadership. A lot of these are initiatives that were driven by our students, where they've worked with, for example, our buildings and estates teams to promote certain actions and see the installment of, for example, more water fountains, the use of disposable cups to move away from single-use plastics. We've got a huge increase in our renewable energy. We've got more active travel options, somewhat limited still, but we're getting there. We're moving slowly but surely towards more active travel. For example, also the provision of a bike repair shop initiative on campus, and other aspects of it, trying to move to fair trade foods, that sort of thing. So you can see we're trying to give our students the opportunity to experience it, live it, and through that kind of somewhat hidden curriculum, take on the values of sustainability. But also, as I said, engage in these actions. Let them drive them forward, provide them with that platform to actually look which actions they think are relevant for them and take ownership and leadership in them, that they're supported in making the campus what they want it to be. It needs to work for them. And as I said, when we talk about leadership, Leadership looks at, obviously, the kind of operational plan side of things. Some of that is incredibly boring. But most importantly, what we're looking at here, again, is providing a campus that is a sustainability role model and helping our students become sustainability role models. That's one of the biggest and, as I said, most important aims that I've highlighted for you here. If we're looking at leadership, and just as a quick idea of how the said committee works, anyway, it's a very overwhelming slide, but I think it's important to note that until recently, we did not have a director of sustainability. We now have one. So our sustainability partnership committee was predominantly voluntary membership, such as academics, but also we tried to make sure that we had, as I said, our operational team on board, because a lot of the work falls within their remit. Without, you know, the people who work on the grounds, who work in the buildings, a lot of the things that we're trying to implement are not possible. And through this committee, we're trying to facilitate that interaction between students and relevant people to, again, support them in taking that leadership. You will see there are a couple of highlights there. We have, obviously, our Dean of Students is included, and our Student Union President are included in the Advisory Board on Sustainability. And we then have our CUSP General Board, which includes membership of the Student Union President, Vice President, and Student Union Sustainability and Environmental and Sustainability Officer, and other representatives from student societies. Each of our working groups has a minimum requirement of 2 student representatives, tend to have more, but it can sometimes be difficult to get sufficient members to want to join us, because they do sometimes look at us and kind of go, oh, you're a very stuffy crowd. Do I really want to work with you? But it is important that they have the opportunity to engage with us. And again, as I said, also have that leadership that feeds back into the governance of the university. We also try to encourage leadership in our students by providing Sustainability Leadership Award Scheme, which provides a paid internship for students who seek to develop their sustainability knowledge and skills. They aim to provide sustainability-minded students with an opportunity to work on a sustainability agenda over the summer month on campus. We see here our most recent awardees in the top left, one of whom is also the leader of one of fantastic outreach fantastic project, which is the Student Pantry, aimed at reducing food waste and making it available to students. Then also it's important to note that one of the first ever winners of the Student Awards went on to become our first Students' Union Sustainability. I'm sorry, Molly, I keep getting this mixed up. I'm so sorry. It's Environment and Sustainability Officer. I know we had this conversation yesterday as well. It's a mouthful. I'm really sorry. But Marlena went on to become our first student union officer on the environment and sustainability, which was great to see the whole range of activities that she would have led on and engaged with other students on. And again, we keep on providing this opportunity because we do want to see those opportunities for our students to develop their leadership. Now, I'm making it all sound great and exciting, but let me be perfectly clear, this is not necessarily, as I said, all done and in place. Some of this is works in progress. In some cases, we do have hitches and glitches along the way. And I'm also wanting to make sure that I recognize that it's not just us. We're not unique in some of the activities that we have and some of the initiatives. I know that there's brilliant examples from other universities here, that some of you have equally fantastic initiatives going on in your own institutions. And I think it'd be lovely to hear about them and also look at how we can learn from you. We have a really ambitious climate action roadmap for our university, for example, but we're still struggling on some of those aspects. I mean, one of the things I think I should highlight is the travel element. Active travel is something we really struggle with. Galway City is notorious for its traffic problems, and also we're dealing with the fact that Ireland is an island. So, which means that all of our delegation have just flown here, which is, if you think about it, quite a sad state of affairs. But again, we do need to kind of figure out how we best navigate this. But it is, as I said, it's not without its challenges, and some of it is definitively work in progress. So I'd love to hear what others have to say, and if there's other suggestions of what we can do, it'd be brilliant. But for now, I hope that you've gotten a reasonable overview of what it is that we do at Galway, what we're trying to achieve, how we're trying to empower our students through what we do, how we teach sustainability, how we try to give our students the opportunities and the platforms to gain skills, lead and take action where relevant. And as I said, I hope you will enjoy some of the sessions led by my colleagues over the course of the next few days. And for now, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Geshe, for this very nice and inspiring presentation. So,
sorry, can I just point out, I'm a little disappointed you can't see the beautiful landscape I put up there for you. Again, to convince you that you want to come to Ireland, but anyway.
We were jealous, so that's why we spoiled the presentation on the slide.
I see.
Okay. Okay, so we move to the next part of the session, and I will ask Karel to challenge the presentation, but maybe Karel, you could first say a few words about your own engagement, because you had a lot of responsibility, a lot of initiative. So maybe can you just say a few words, since we are not late? You can take a few minutes for that, and then you could react.
Okay. Should I talk into the mic, or can everyone understand? I must talk in the mic. This is better?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Karel. Nice to see you, and thank you for your wonderful presentation. It's great to see the similarities and the differences. Myself, I was a student, and as a student, I worked at Green Office, which is an organization within the university where staff and students work together, both paid and volunteers. And the goal is really to build the university, which is both socially and ecologically just. And we do this through setting up projects, various experiments. And the one I coordinated this year was a sustainability summer school, where we try to offer a different kind of education, which is often lacking in traditional curricula, which is student-led. It tries to be transdisciplinary. It tries to be critical of existing frameworks. And it brings in people from various backgrounds. So, yes, that's me.
Thank you, Karel. We know you a little bit better now. So maybe you could react to the presentation of Geshe.
First question is, you mentioned this committee has a very broad membership, so different kind of people. But I wonder, since the theme is student empowerment, how are students involved, in which way, and what are ways to strengthen this?
It's a good question. Usually at the start of the academic year, when our students return to campus during induction and during Freshers Week for our students, our sustainability officer will run a number of events at which she lets students, basically know that there's a visible presence of sustainability on campus and that they can engage with her. And then she asks students who are interested to give their contact details. And it's entirely up to the students if they want to engage with us or not. As I said, we have some membership that is ongoing, so rolling. As I said, the Students' Union president, they basically have no choice. But all the others, it's a voluntary role. If they want to engage, they're really, really welcome. Or we might approach students who we think hold roles that are really, really relevant to see if they want to engage or send a representative. So we might approach relevant student societies and ask if they want to send representatives to be part of this. I'm not sure that we've fully cracked it, what the best approach is, but again, the important part of it is that it needs to be voluntary. We can't make people attend and engage with sustainability, but it definitely is something that I think, even in particular, kind of in the post-COVID situation, we are struggling with, since not all of our students are always on campus to the same level as they would have been before. Still, we have some issues with students having to travel to get to campus, so they might miss out on events or opportunities to engage. So yeah, if anybody has any good ideas of how we can broaden it out, I will always mention it in any of the classes or courses that I run, that this committee exists and that we like students involvement as much as possible. So, but definitely not always easy to engage everybody.
I can imagine. It's really interesting that you have this active approach actually to try to reach out to students. I think that's really good. Another thing I wondered about, and you mentioned it like a couple of times, are big challenges. And often talking from my own experience, when talking about sustainability, there are these quick wins that are easily achieved. Like everyone wants a nice aesthetic organic garden, and everyone wants solar panels on their roof. But of course, we don't have a lot of time, and a lot needs to change. So at some point, you need to touch on more sensitive subjects, which threaten or endanger ways of life, ways of work. Yeah. You mentioned energy use of labs, flying, of course, diet, these very sensitive objects. So I wonder, how do you deal with opposition or adversity or hesitance?
It tends to be more hesitance, I think. Again, it's nobody likes to have the status quo challenged. Nobody likes to have to make difficult decisions. We always try to engage with those who may not be as enthusiastic about sustainability as others are, in particular myself. No, we try to engage with them in the discussion to see where the barriers are. Because sometimes it's about recognizing where the barriers are to be able to remove them, or to actually be able to reassure people that we're not trying to make their lives more difficult. Because that's what people tend to feel, is that we're trying to make their lives more difficult. But having said that, as I said, we still face challenges. I'm not sure how we will tackle them most effectively. Transport is a huge issue for us, and even though we might know what the right answer is, tackling it goes beyond our campus. Tackling it goes beyond, our immediate surroundings. So making sure that we promote active travel is not necessarily easy, because it requires a complete shift, not just from our population, but the wider population. I'm going to out some of my colleagues in one of the travel surveys that we had, not anybody here, not any individuals, but in general. We had a transport survey that showed that a huge proportion of staff who live within 1 or 2 kilometres of the university drive to campus, which horrified me greatly. And that is something we do need to figure out how we can do that better. I'm not sure how we can encourage them to change that approach, but it is definitely, I was going to say, in general, what we try to do is engage and figure out where the barriers are, to see what we need to put in place to remove those barriers. Because it's not necessarily that they're against a sustainable approach. They don't want to have it made difficult. So we're trying to remove those barriers, trying to make it as easy as possible. So even if we're looking at, for example, changing, the information that's available on our modules, that requires work from our colleagues. And I know a lot of them are overworked already. So therefore, trying to make it easy and putting a system in place where you really just tick a box makes it much easier to kind of go, this is the SDG my module aligns with. But no, and again, I also mentioned the options for foods, for, removing food, for example, in the canteens and the food offerings. There's huge opposition. That's something we're going to have to tackle, and I'm not sure how. If anybody has any smart ideas, bring them our way, please.
We have the same struggle in Ghent. Another point, bringing it back to student empowerment, I think, again, talking from my own experience, but also with others, the environmental catastrophe that we're in brings on a lot of strong emotions, or can do so. Others might push it away. It might be anxiousness for some of what is to come, or maybe anger at what is not happening. So I wonder, in your approach, talking about education specifically, how do you open up space for these emotions, and how do you deal with this?
Yeah, no, it's something that there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of concern. It can be really, really scary to think about where we're headed. So what we're trying to do, again, is provide students with tools and facilities to kind of deal with that. On the one hand, we have modules as part of the curriculum that look at personal and environmental resilience, for example. We include personal resilience in the sustainability module that we teach, to again try to make sure that our students are being given tools and coping mechanisms to deal with this anxiety. In general, in some of the modules that I provide myself, I provide an extra section online in the learning materials that are tools that the students can access to make sure that they know where to go, whom to work with. And again, by providing a community where students feel they can engage with others on this, makes it much easier at times to deal with, because you realize you're not alone. So even our student services provides something like the 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗏 that brings together students to talk about their concerns and anxieties, but also look at actions that they can take. We also have spaces on campus that are specifically designated for students to engage with the outdoors and kind of even sit a moment and relax and appreciate what's there. We have a lovely mindfulness garden now. But again, it's trying to give them the tools and the skills to cope with it, because it is scary. And as I said, just by trying to provide them with links and information, that's how we're trying to work with it. But we also have now just project that I think the survey is going to be sent out shortly, surveying our staff and students to see, whether they are experiencing this anxiety, what they have been doing and what they would like to see done, or where they feel we can do better. Because again, getting that feedback from our community, our campus community, on how we can do better and what we can do to support them is really, really important for us.
And then maybe, I don't know if there's still time.
Sure.
A final, harder question, which is not that defined. But your last slide, you mentioned we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty. And I wonder, personally, do you think we're doing enough? The goal is to provide education, excellent research within planetary boundaries. I think we can all agree on that. But the struggle is very large. And it might seem like a happy story now, a lot of things are happening. But looking at the science, do you think there's enough? And do you think within academia, we have a privilege to study things, to know things, but do you think with that privilege comes a duty to act and to do more? And I'm talking about activism, but maybe also other.
Oh no, absolutely, I fully agree. I think A, we're incredibly privileged, and B, we have a duty to do more, to also make sure that we share this with others, which is why I think we always have this drive to engage with our wider communities, which is so essential. It's while the students are with us, while we're working at the university, we try to engage with others, because this is not something we can do on our own. We can set a good example, show others what can be done, but it does take more than that. And on your question about are we doing enough, I think we can always do more. But I'm also hopeful, because we see a lot of really good actions taking place. And I do think we need to be hopeful, because if we're not hopeful, then what are we doing here?
It's true.
So, but maybe to follow up on the question of Karel, this issue of activism, is it something which is addressed in the Committee for Sustainability? Are there debates? Are there some point where there are tension between the students and the administration, or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. We've most recently had students protest about an initiative that we had on campus, which was meant to educate on sustainability, I think. Sorry, I wasn't involved with it, so I'm not sure, I think. And it wasn't appreciated by our students, and they made that known, which I think is really important. And to give them the opportunity to protest, and to give them the opportunity to object to what we might be doing, letting us know when we're doing wrong is so important. And taking that on board, it's feedback. It's feedback as to whether we're doing the right thing or not. So no, absolutely. We do have a colleague who's recently joined us who looks at political activism, and I'm really looking forward to see what else she can do, and what else she will bring to the table, because that is an interesting area of research as well.
Thank you. Karel?
Maybe one more. You
Sure.
You mentioned the SDGs.
Yeah.
And I know it's an interesting framework, but there's also a lot of critique on SDGs, especially in education, where you're bringing in SDGs as like, oh, this course is this SDG, it's on water. But I think there's a risk where it becomes a checkbox you need to check, like, oh, number 1, 3, and 4, and now we're sustainable. But
no, I don't think we can ever fool ourselves into thinking that by just saying, oh, our research or our teaching aligns with these relevant SDGs, we've achieved what we're setting out to achieve. It is more sometimes just about letting people know where the links are. Because for some people, it's not as obvious. I know that I come from a science background. For us, sometimes it's very, very obvious. But sometimes for others, they haven't thought about it in those terms. They haven't thought about how their work might relate to sustainability. Because sometimes people just think about, for example, about environmental sustainability. They don't think about the social side. So therefore, making sure that we can also draw those links and understand how sustainability is more than just the environment is really important. Again, I don't think that we're going to solve the problems by just saying, oh yeah, this work aligns with this SDG. But it just highlights where the links are and lets people think about how these aspects fit together. And I think that's what we're trying to achieve. But yeah, I'm aware of the criticism of it, absolutely. And I do think some of the criticism is very valid.
Thank you very much. I promised the audience they would be allowed to ask questions. So we'll go to the next part of this session, and I think there are microphones, especially since we had this nice noise coming from the roof. You really need to. Sorry. Yes. So there are 2 microphones. So who wants to start with the first comment or the first question? Or here. Thank you.
Do I also introduce myself or just?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗧 from the University of Groningen. You mentioned that you include student union members in your whole executive board setup with the complicated schedule table.
Yeah.
Do you in Galway also have the setup where the student union members, these board members, that they change every year? How do you deal with that on the long term? Because we have the same setup where these students' boards, they change every year, and every year you get new, enthusiastic students, but they may have completely different sort of goals.
I know, but isn't it great for them to bring new goals to us? Isn't it important to, maybe move away from what we were doing to bring new ideas on board? Absolutely. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the things that we do have is that for those board members, one thing is, they are hopefully, by the time they become the relevant student union members, are aware of what's going on and have an idea where their own agenda might fit within that. But it's always a struggle. It's like a changing government, So you have to consider where you're going overall. But again, because I think sustainability is so broad, it encompasses an awful lot. So therefore, again, looking at where those links are, that's the most important part. But you're absolutely right. But again, I do also welcome the fact that they bring new ideas and enthusiasm, because it's important not to get jaded and stale about what we do either.
No, their new enthusiasm sort of fuels your own enthusiasm as well.
Absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. And again, it's great. It's really great to see.
There was one question there first, and then we'll take.
Yeah, thank you for this presentation and the discussion. My name is Tim. I'm from the University of Bern, and I have sustainable development in my minor. And my question would be, maybe we are taking the wrong path here, since I would state the thesis that in the vast majority of the students are on board when it comes to sustainability. And in Bern, we have to think that every student has to have one lecture of sustainability in its curriculum, no matter what field of study, but the teachers don't care. So that they need to do one 90 minutes lecture, let's say, for example, history. So here in this, my question for you would be, shouldn't we empower the teachers to actually bring sustainability in high schools?
Yeah, I fully agree. Actually, that is part of the problem. So we're trying to work around that by having that one module that we have loads of enthusiastic lectures and teachers teaching into, that students have the opportunity to take. So that we actually have a 5-credit module that students can take at some point in their academic career that is taught by enthusiastic and engaged staff. So that's what we're trying to do. But you're absolutely right. Some people don't care. Some people are not as enthusiastic about it as others. Some people don't see that value for it. And I do think our students have a greater appreciation of the need and the interest for it. So it is absolutely accurate to say that we need to engage the rest of our campus community, and sometimes even work harder at engaging relevant staff. I try to focus in this in particular on the student aspect, but without a doubt, staff are a huge part of this. So we also are looking at staff training opportunities, for example, to making sure that we're also bringing our staff along, that they have a better idea or understanding, because some of them are not engaged because they don't fully understand it. So then, you just need to give them the right sort of, again, tools and skills to work with this. Others, there are definitely barriers, and we need to figure out how we work around those. But no, as I said, by trying to have at least one module where you have enthusiastic teachers, we're trying to provide students with the opportunity to actually see how it's relevant to their own disciplines.
Thank you. One more green question.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗼𝗂 𝗧𝗲𝗰𝗵𝗶. I was a PhD candidate here in the University of Bordeaux, and I'm a postdoc now in the University of Luxembourg. And I wanted to go back on the activism topic. How do you work around your scientific neutrality, and how can it blend with political activism? So where do you draw the line, or how do you make you open for a blending in between the two? How to say that? Caps, let's say.
That's a really good question, and I don't think I've actively thought about it, so I'm not sure how to answer your question. I'm really sorry, but if you're happy to let me have a think about it, I might give you an answer later. I'm really sorry. There's nothing where I would say right now, here's my answer to that, but it's a really good question, and it's definitely something worth considering. I think it's really, really important to consider. So it's how do you balance the two? I'm not sure. Good question. Thank you. And again, if anybody else wants to come in and has a thought on that, I'd be really excited to hear their thoughts as well.
Another question for you, but there is a cluster of people. They are not actors that we paid and put them here.
They're all just inspiring each other.
So even the one on the right side are allowed to ask questions. Right from my perspective.
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm from the University of Bordeaux. I was very expensively paid by the staff here. My question is about leadership. So you mentioned that you would like that your graduates are leaders in sustainability. So do you already have former students that became something? What kind of human beings have you formed with this program?
Great question. I can't speak for all of the graduates that have graduated from the university, but I know that from some of the students or some of my own cohorts, we have people who've gone on to work in, for example, our Department of Climate, what's it, Climate, Communications, Energy? I don't know. It's a very lengthy title for yet again another government department. They've gone on to government departments to work in there. We have those who lead at local authority level on, for example, biodiversity initiatives. We have biodiversity officers who work with a whole range of different community engagement projects as well. I know that some of them have gone on to be educators, science and environmental educators, sustainability educators. They've become sustainability officers with different organizations in their own fields. So I do think we've seen success in this, which is really, really great to see. And I love seeing where our students have gone on to, from where they were. One of our students recently let me know that he's now overseeing a conservation project in the Seychelles, those kind of things. And it's really great to see that they're really making an impact going forward, and I'm delighted to see that. Yeah, and absolutely global. Like, it's really, really good to see.
So
he's finally found somebody up there.
Yes, thank you. Please.
Thank you again for the presentation and insights. I'm Alexandra from Uppsala University, and I do research about ecological anxiety, and I try also to include teachers in that, and I know that the stories from teachers about ecological anxiety, it's another side of the problem, and I'm really grateful that you raised that question. And I'm curious, since you mentioned that you're going to explore it among students and have some evaluations or stuff.
Students and staff.
Yeah, so are you including teachers in that process, and are you talking to them about it?
Absolutely. It's all of our staff. It's going out to all of our staff, be they academic, operations, research, whatever they are. No, absolutely, because we're really aware of the fact that it's as I say, I find myself sometimes as a prime example thereof, so it's useful to include ourselves in this as well. to see what we need and what we can do. Absolutely. But again, our focus is in this, for this is on students, but absolutely, staff need to be looked after just as much. We can't be effective educators if we're not doing okay.
Thank you. So one question, you have the microphone, so please speak up.
Hi.
And then we'll take, there are 2 questions on the top. And then we'll finish because we have only...
Oh, good timekeeping. And if anybody has
few
any
minutes,
questions after that,
2 minutes. But please, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I'm Krista from the University of Groningen. I have maybe a bit of a difficult question, but you talk a lot about including students in the processes, but you also mentioned students are the future. Like, shouldn't it become more student-led, also in policy and strategy? So not including them later on, but actually starting from the initiative and empowering students with the skills they already have?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I mean, we're not assuming that our students don't have already leadership or already skills that are relevant. It is about facilitating them or providing a platform for them to explore projects and take the leads on different projects. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. We're not assuming that we need to start from nothing. They have great knowledge. They often come to us with a great level of education on sustainability already. No, absolutely. It's not so much that we assume they don't. It is about providing that platform to explore what they want to do, and again, providing them with the facilities to lead on actions. And come to us and say, by the way, we think this needs to be changed. And the question for us is, how can we facilitate it?
Okay, maybe we take 2 more questions and then we'll have to stop. Otherwise, I will have problem.
Yes. Hi, I'm Nanook from the University of Groningen, and I'm also part of the communication team. We were making some notes here. One thing that I stood out from your conversation is that you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. You said we are not here to make you uncomfortable. Do you see a moment in time where we have to go past that and we don't have time to make everybody feel comfortable?
Oh no, sorry. No. We require change. Change is not comfortable. We're trying to make it as easy a transition as we possibly can. Where we can make it easy, that's what we're trying to do. Oh no, I don't think it's always going to be comfortable. No, absolutely not. Sorry. Sorry, that must have been poorly communicated on my part. I apologize.
Where is the microphone? Here. Please.
Hi. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Hi, I'm Brina Madden from the University of Galway as well, actually. And it's more an observation on something somebody said down there rather than a question as such. When you were talking about leadership and all that, I run the Employability Award in the university. And this year we just started a sustainability pathway to help the students to understand what is, all the skills that they have learned, the experiences that they take, encourage them further to get involved in sustainability and how important it is going forward and when they are going to employers. And as well, when you're talking about leadership and people before, one of the things is to reach out to alumni who have taken part in this and get them back in to talk to the students so that they can see. And if they can see where they can go with it, well, then that can really help them to envision where they can go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really good point. I think last year there was the Green Careers Fair as well. Exactly, yeah. So there you go. Exactly. So that's a really good initiative, a really good example thereof of how you can bring students back. So yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. Very good point.
Last question. I'm sorry, it's the last one. Please.
Thank you. Ellen Krause from University of Bern. I'd like to address the student Carol, right? Thank you for your questions. One of them, it was maybe the last or second last, was that if we as universities have a privilege to know and understand, if from that stems a duty to act, right? And I think this was not only a question, it was an expectation. Would you confirm that? And what kind of expectation is that? Or do you have ideas how far the universities should go and change and not just make a list of little actions?
A chance to make the conclusion with this answer.
Okay. I'll talk from my own perspective. I think if you're asking how far should universities go, I think as far as is needed, and we still need to go a long way. And these institutions are big, massive tankers, like oil tankers almost, which we need to drag. And I think from my perspective, really radical action is needed. I think scientists should come on the streets and take on their role as people who know in the society, and let society know and use this privilege to really make change also outside of the university. So yes, radical action is needed.
Very good conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you very much, 𝗘𝗡𝗟𝗏 and Karel, for this session.